Good day, everyone. This is our continuation of discussions about home office and branch accounting general procedures part 2. So we are going to look into the accounting for branch operations. Then that's going to be the journal entries, then the preparation of the combined financial statements of home office and branch respectively, as again we combine the financial statements. So let us go to our source now. And here it is. So as said in the first part, there are the so-called reciprocal accounts in which they are to be used in the recording of the transactions. Let us just remind ourselves that in recording of the transactions, they are just very similar to what we have learned even from our previous accounting subjects, even from accounting 1. It's just that we are just going to add the reciprocal accounts to our analysis. Then we have to take note that in the event that there is no mention about whether the transaction is done between or among the home office and the branch or branches respectively, then such transactions are done individually by the said entities. All right. So if we can notice letter A, cash is sent to Cebu branch, that's 10,000. Basically, that's clearly home office sending money to the branch. So that's an intercompany transaction. So let's look at here. We have here the two columns. So we have to prepare the two respective columns for the books respectively so as to make our illustration much better. So when the home office sent money to the branch, the home office will have to debit investment in Cebu branch 10,000 credit cash. Then the branch books or the respective home office account will reflect that as a credit, the opposite, and debiting cash because it received that money. Then merchandise is shipped to the branch at cost 100,000. So investment in Cebu branch 100,000 and credit shipments to branch 100,000. While for the Cebu branch books, that's going to be a debit of shipments from home office at 100,000 respectively. Then credit home office also at 100,000. So you can see or notice the opposites. And for letter B, this is now showing the four reciprocal accounts that we are going to eliminate when we combine financial statements. Letter C, store equipment is purchased by the branch and carried in the home office books 5,000 pesos. So it is the branch that actually made the purchase and paid for it. So debit investment in the, of course, branch. So because the equipment will be carried in the home office books, okay, so of course that's going to debit the store equipment Cebu branch, right? So in that case, this is like the investment. What I meant was that investment of the branch in the home office. It's like that point. So an asset anyways, an investment. So debit store equipment dash Cebu branch 5,000, credit investment in Cebu branch, and then in the branch books we can notice here that we debited home office of 5,000 and credited 5,000 for cash. Well, this is because this is clearly stating that the store equipment is purchased by the branch. So the branch paid for that. And that's why it's here debit home office, credit cash 5,000, and then home office books, store equipment dash Cebu branch 5,000, and credit investment in Cebu branch 5,000 pesos. Next, RD, the credit sales. So these are the individual sales of each. So we are going to debit account receivable, credit sales for each entity. So it is 450 and 120,000 respectively for home office books and Cebu branch books. Collection of accounts receivable, well, that's debit accounts receivable a while ago for letter D for the credit sales. So when we collect, we have to close it. So credit, of course, accounts receivable, and debit cash. So debit cash, credit accounts receivable, of 500,000 and 110,000 respectively. Then operating expenses, so individual, simply we can record that as debit various expenses and credit cash of 76,000 and 30,000 respectively. Then for letter G, cash remittance by Cebu branch to home office, 50,000. In this case, clearly the branch would credit cash because it is remittance to home office. So the partner then is debit of home office 50,000. And this is the entry. On the part of the home office in its books of accounts. So that's home office books, debit cash. So simply the receipt of the money, and then credit the investment in Cebu branch parallel to home office. Then for letter H, operating expenses charged by home office to branch 6,000 pesos. So this is also a possibility wherein there are expenses coming from the home office, normally the common ones, the company-wide expenses, as what I've said when I discussed this one, so apportionment of those expenses. And then there could also be like cases of the home office paying for the expenses in behalf of the branch. So anyway, that's another situation, but those are some cases going back and reviewing about expenses. So here for letter H, so we have to debit investment in Cebu branch and credit the expenses for the allocation. And then on the part of the branch, in the branch book, so we will have to receive the operating expenses, 6,000, and credit home office, 6,000. So just think of the opposites. Bottom line, before closing entries, again, we think of the opposites. And just like in accounting one, there are situations wherein it is easier to determine one side, like the debit or the credit, and you partner that with a reciprocal account or any appropriate account available or applicable, of course. Then closing entries, so similar steps from accounting one. We close income here. We close the cost of sales accounts. We close the operating expense accounts. We close the balance of the income summary. So that represents the profit then to home office in branch books. Well, for the home office books, that's going to be an addition, the Cebu branch income. And then on the part of the home office's books, we are going to close the branch income to income summary because the other account titles have been closed already. And then we finally close income summary to retained earnings. Then the new term is accumulated profits and losses. All right, so those things. So again, close income sales here, representing the revenues or income. Number two, close the cost of sales account. For home offices books, we can notice the addition of shipments to branch. Remember, this was credited here. So when we close, that's debit. While shipments from home office was debited a while ago, so it should be credited here when we close now. Among other things, so these are just the unique ones, the shipments to branch and shipments from home office. Then the profit here. So income summary, when it has a balance of credit here, that's 120,000, 120,000 minus 60 minus 36 in 1,000 is 24,000 credit. That's profit. For it to be closed, you put that on the debit side and credit home office. So that's an addition. It is going to increase the equity account because profit increases equity. Then also, because home office is a reciprocal account of the investment in Cebu branch, so this increases the income, Cebu branch income, and also the income summary balance. Right. Then note that some of the amounts are assumed. Okay, that's a good note though, because we might be wondering as to where are the accounts coming from as well as the amounts. Then after we have posted all the entries in illustrations 12-2, so the usual and operational transactions and the closing entries. So this would how the respective books of home office and branch would look like in the respective investment in Cebu branch and home office accounts respectively. So we have here the respective amounts. So totaling to 140,000 for the respective debit side, while the credit side is lower. And that's why there is a balance of 85,000. And this is debit. While the home office account in the branch books will have a balance of credit of 85,000. They should be equal, of course. Then what about the separate financial statements? We have to take note again that branch as opposed to an agency will have to prepare its own financial statements, the complete set. So not just, for example, the six or six could be including already the statement of financial position at the earliest comparative date or period when there is a reclassification, a change in accounting policy, or a correction of prior period error. So in that case, normally that's not going to be included when we say the complete set, but that composes or comprises, of course, the complete set. So refer to IAS 1 for more discussions about that. But my point is that for the complete set, we can prepare 5 or 6. Anyway, so same to branch, it has to prepare also the complete set of financial statements. And then this is for us, if we are part of the management of the branch, as well as the home office, more importantly, to evaluate the operations, the performance, the financial position, the cash flows, the equity items, as well as the changes of equity, which is very important, and then also the additional information in the notes to financial statements. So those things are very important in assessing as to the operating results and the overall performance and condition of a certain branch. So that's why those complete set of financial statements will have to be prepared. So you can notice here in the subsequent illustrations that they are actually done. So separate financial statements are prepared. Later on, the consolidated financial statements will be tackled or discussed. So here we can notice on the part of the Cebu branch, it's just a simple statement of financial position or balance sheet. So showing assets, and then it's really simple here, like one account title for the credit side, just the home office. So remember I told you guys that the home office account can be classified as either liabilities and equity. However, it is suggested that this is qualified and classified as equity on the sense that this represents actually the investment in the equity of the branch of the home office, of course. Then this is the statement of comprehensive income. Of course, no OCI items or other comprehensive income items here. So this makes the illustration very simple. So from sales down to net income or profit or loss item. So without OCI, that makes or comprises the total comprehensive income. Then home offices, financial statements. We have the statement of financial position, which is somehow an extensive one, especially with the equipment with the contra asset accounts. I've noticed here that there is no equipment in the branch, so Cebu branch. And then there are equity items here also, capital stock or share capital and accumulated profits and losses, formerly known as retained earnings. In comprehensive income, we can notice now that the shipments to branch is again a deduction to get the cost of sales, whereas the shipments from home office is an addition to get cost of sales. Also, after we get the net income of the home office from its own operations, we add the income of the branch or branches. So we only have Cebu branch income here in the example to simplify the illustration. So comprehensive income is 114,000. For the combined financial statements, we need, of course, to make a worksheet or a working paper for us to be able to eliminate the intercompany or intra-company accounts or simply the reciprocal accounts. So we have again 4. the investment in branch partnered with home office, and the shipments to branch partnered with shipments from home office in the home office's books and the branch books respectively. So what we can do is that to eliminate, we simply place them on the opposite or with the opposite side. So hence, we can see here the asset being credited, equity being debited, contra cost of sales being debited instead of course, credited prior, and an addition to cost of sales credited. Okay, so to eliminate, simply put the accounts having debit balances to the credit and accounts with the credit balances to the debit. All right, and we can see this on our working papers. Unfortunately, this is an illustration that is vertical. All right, so hopefully we can find a way to show this. All right, so this is now the heading, the name of the company, the report that we are preparing, and the date line. Then we have the account titles here. So all debits are grouped as well as the credits. Although if we can recall from accounting one, this is not really required. We can just like arrange the account titles in the order of assets, liabilities, equity represented by our capital accounts. And then later on, if this is like sole proprietorship and partnership, we have the joint accounts, but because this is corporation, so probably we have the dividends as shown. And then we have income or revenues and expenses. If we have also cost of sales items, so that will be inserted prior to expenses. So we can see them here. We have the adjusted trial balances. If we want that we can show or we would like to show or enhance this, we can just place here first the unadjusted trial balance, and then we can add the column for the adjustments before we get the adjusted trial balance. We assume these are the balances or amounts after we have made the adjusting entries like accruals, deferrals, etc. So that's not anyway the focus anymore. So after that, we eliminate the 4 reciprocal accounts. So we can see here A's for the first elimination entry and the B's for the second elimination entry. And we now extend the appropriate accounts to their appropriate columns. So if the accounts, of course, belong to revenues or income and expenses and cost of sales, they are to be forwarded to the combined statement of comprehensive income. But if they are real accounts or the permanent accounts or the balance sheet accounts or statement of financial position accounts like assets, liabilities, and equity, then they will have to be forwarded here. And at the bottom, we can notice that we are, of course, equal at all occasions or times. By the way, these are the totals for adjusted trial balance debit and credit. So this means that we are balanced, of course. And then we have inventory for December 31, the statement of financial position. So remember, whatever is the ending balance of inventory, that will be forwarded immediately as a debit to statement of financial position. And you call this the direct extension method. While inventory ending will be part of the deduction to cost of sales. That's why it is a credit in a statement of comprehensive income. Cost of sales as a normal balance of debit, by the way. And this is how we are going to get the totals later on. So adjustments, again, prior to this one should be, of course, equal in totals. Adjusted trial balances should be equal eliminations. Combined statement of comprehensive income and financial position would not be equal at first instance because the difference is the profit, in which the difference should be equal to both. So you can notice that this is a profit because the credit side of the statement of comprehensive income is greater than the debit, represented by the revenues or income with the expenses. So this is profit, and then we also add here to the smaller amount, and we get 700,000 totals for statement of comprehensive income, and statement of financial position, respectively. Okay, so there are notes here though. Let's check. A is to eliminate the reciprocal accounts, all right. Home office and investment in branch account. And B, the reciprocal accounts on merchandise shipments, again, shipments to branch and shipments from home office. Also, another tick mark, the individual store equipment of the home office and the branch maintained on the home office books are now maintained under one account name. So we can look at that. So we have here the store equipment. So store equipment is in the home office. All right, anyway, because overall it will be for the entire company if we are going to think about. So that's why we simply have to extend it here because it is for the entire combined company as a whole. That's a good point. All right, so, and here are now our combined financial statements as illustrated. So intercompany and intra-company accounts now are eliminated in the process. So we can see the profit from the worksheet at the bottom here, 114,000 as the total comprehensive income without OCI. The profit is the comprehensive income. And we have the total assets and liabilities and stockholders or shareholders equity for MCG company as a whole. Okay, so that's it for the second part. Hopefully you learned something from this session. Thank you very much and God bless, and see you for another learning point or session for this particular course, Accounting for Special Transactions. God bless.